giant schools of mullet and brim and tailor would come down the ocean side. And at that time, we would start a 3-week trip from the mountains down to the beach, where the women would travel separately with the boys to the men, because the men would take the boys, or bares as we call them, on an initiation during this trip. The saltwater camp spot is beautiful. On one side there's cliffs dropping down into an amazing ocean, and on the other side there are flat saltwater lakes. And in between there are these giant sand dunes the size of mountains that were a very important place for my people, where we would conduct a lot of business. And because the sand dunes are constantly moving and shifting, even to this day we're uncovering artefacts from over 4,000 years ago. Our place was one of the first and hardest hit by early colonisers, and we were not a fighting people. The sand dunes that were once a place of business, for burials, for marriages, for initiation, and abundant feasts of seafood and celebration, is now better known to us as Dark Point, and the site of a horrific massacre that took out the majority of Worimi people. So, in this context, it's really hard for me to consider whether the artist is an activist. Sometimes I feel like that concept is like fishing for the moon in the sea. At a time when self-determination has been removed from the discourse of our current and previous governments, I don't know if it's even okay to be speaking about Aboriginal issues in that context. When every community has different needs and different struggles and different energy, and when every bend in the river can sometimes represent an entirely different clan group with its own set of law and autonomy, is it even okay to ask whether our artists are activists without preserving a dominant discourse that favours homogeneity and a bland landscape where rivers are drained of life and art is about ticket sales? I do, though, think that there are some common issues in a broader context that contemporary Indigenous artists and producers face in this country. Our work is often reviewed through a political lens, where critique of form is entirely westernised and focuses more on dividing people over issues than looking at the quality of the art form and the work itself. We're criticised for making art that is non-linear, that doesn't make sense, that is political and historical, and we're often told to just get over it. We also have an ongoing experience in the sector of being told that we're not market ready, that we need to go to boot camps and do mentorship after mentorship and be attachments and associates and assistants without ever being able to fully get up or fall down either.